Sanibonani ngonweni Thobelani Dumela ikuseba fethu namhlanje siphethe indaba ye-vaccine COVID. Zonke lezi zinto ezingeza complications. Namhlanje ngithole abantu abaza-simplifya nje ngoba kuyabonakala ukuthi i-COVID ayikahambi isakhona abantu kuthi maps niyazi ukuthi i-organization is ending this campaign. Mhlambe mara everyone wethu wena the-COVID njengoba was-kwe ngokocwaningo olukhona isekhona le-disease phakathi kwethu okanye sesishaya nje ukuthi wamsa isikhathi.
No, COVID is still with us in another form.
Yeah.
It is not sanibonani bantu bakithi sikhona sesigena nje phezulu kwendaba. But i-COVID sasekhona. Although it's in another form, phansi yabona nje sikhashelile, but at any given time, because COVID is part of igciwane nje. Lingavuka laba something else. So we need to be ready. So part of what we are doing is working with other organizations to deal with pandemic preparedness, prevention, as well as response. So that if lama socha lavavuka at 1212, at least we know what to do, because when it hit us, we didn't know. We were sibesenza amatulo ngayo nje akhumbula letulo lenti corona. That was December. Mazithi March because that time we should have used it to say, hey, there is something big that's coming. How do we get there? So learning from organizations like the Treatment Action Campaign in terms of treatment literacy, because if we don't make people aware, if we don't make people prepare themselves for what is coming, then every day during the high levels of COVID, there was a lot of misinformation. Everyone was an expert, either with correct or incorrect solutions.
Sizobuya i-outcome the leg night TikTok.
Siyabashaya. TikTok. Ngiyabona bakubiza ukudala mkhulu, mina bangibiza ugogo. Bathi bafunani labo.
So in your view, but being here abantu bambula emakhaya bakuthanda whatever. In your view, why people are still scared of the vaccine?
So good afternoon, everyone, or good morning. My name is Yvette Raphael, and I'm the Executive Director of Advocates for the Prevention of HIV in Africa. I think the big problem with COVID was how it was communicated. The communications was fear-based. So our communities immediately became and started talking about COVID and vaccines fear-based. But AMA vaccines is something sikhula Tina. We grew up with them, we got inoculated. And I always say to the scientists, you should have said immunization against COVID, not vaccines, because AMA vaccines, people actually they think of them in the sense of pop control, in sense of the apartheid days, people trying to do something scary to us.
I remember the language, detention,
isolation and all of that. But how do you isolate?
Quarantine.
Exactly, how do you do that when you're in Alexander and you are in Tembisa? However, I think my comrade rightfully speak about the Treatment Action Campaign and what we have learned. Tinama activists, we should not underplay our role. What we have learned, we implemented then in COVID advocacy, COVID knowledge, so that people know how to deal with it. I remember us coming together, comrade, and the head of WHO did not know what to do. And he asked, what must we do now? We said, stay calm and let us do this the way we know in our community.
Leadership. In the society, when you come back now as a sector of people with HIV, to say, we continue with this campaign, we won't stop because we don't know what is going to happen in the near future. Possibly,
absolutely,
condition or disease attack, but it's in attitude is abantu ubingelele emakhaya.
Okay, sanibona nonke emakhaya, igama lami uSidwell Mbasa from Good Treatment Action Campaign, si-organization elwela amalungelo wabantu, ingakhulukazi ke abantu abaphila negciwane le-HIV ne-TB, including i-COVID-19 nayo ke i-part of umsebenzi esiwenzayo ukuthi senze abantu ukuthi bathole information. Yes Prof, ngithi ngibeke nje ngalendlela ngoba si-Treatment Action Campaign si-organization esebenza kakhulu emphakathini. Umphakathi lo esikhathini esiningi othola information eletha ukuthuka than ukuletha relief. So sabantu ke ukuthi siphusha i-campaign ethi abantu mabavaccinate, continue bavaccinate ngoba i-COVID-19 isasekhona kithi sisaphila nayo. Isengavuka at any time kanti izofuna ukuthi sihlale si-prepared amasotsha omzimba njengoba ekasho ukuthi.
Awukhuluma kanti ukuthi siyakhona. Awukhofu ukuthi ngibele.
Ya uyabaleka vele isasenjalo. Isasenjalo inkinga ukuthi ama-communities wethu have laid down ama-guards wabo, so siyaqhubeka sinama campaign esiwenzayo kuma-communities especially ema-hostela ema-hostela ema-townships.
Kusafana nakuqala.
Akusafani kona ngoba sekube ne-information eningi eseyikwazile ukuthi idile naleya narrative, because i-narrative khumbula ukuthi is a mixture of half truth namanga yonke lonto leyo. So we needed to give people information is scientifically proven. Yes, yes, that's what we try to do. Yes, but abantu abasemakhaya sithi mabaqhubeke bazinakekele ngaso sonke isikhathi.
Maps.
No, bengithi like manje abantu bebaphatha i-flu bangafaka ama-mask. Today umuntu one-flu ufaka i-mask. Because angithi siqale ngokubanikeza that fear.
Yes.
Yabona, and then how masks were introduced. So people are still in that process. But if flu, it's flu. It doesn't mean good morning flu.
Sorry, Jensen, ngibona ngasipaza shops. Ngicela sithole nje noba i-drink it namanzi. Siphinde sibuye.
Okay.
Stay tuned. Mase sibuyile ke idolo bengifuna ukucheka kumaps ukuthi mangaphi ama-organization esifana nawo phela project and as a coordinator because you are coordinating all this.
Oh yeah, and utheni is mabengis introduce azange ngisho ukuthi imphuma mina ngomabhalala umfundisi
umfundisi ke iseleni akusu reverend.
Yeah, for me show me your number. Sebenza ne different sectors of society who are really coordinating rather than implementing. They are the ones who are implementing. PLHIV sector, the 5 organizations, they are going into their various networks, bakhuluma nabantu emakhaya in the manner that they understand. We are working with 12 of the 18 sectors of civil society, sex workers, LGBTQI, sports, arts and culture, men, and so forth. So that in the different spaces, laba sebenza khona, they are able to engage with people and get to understand what, some of the questions that are coming are about those issues that remain unanswered. But manje, like last week, this week we had a meeting with those sectors just to check what are the issues. Some people are saying now for people to apply to university. It looks like some people elsewhere are saying, no, they want you to have your vaccination certificate. Some people that are applying for some jobs, a vaccination certificate is actually required. So we are engaging also with the Department of Health and say from a policy perspective, what are some of the practices that are allowed and not allowed so that people are not prejudiced because they chose not to be vaccinated. Of course, we said we want herd immunity. We understand, herd immunity is not about 100% of all of us being vaccinated. So those that have vaccinated have become, a saving grace for those that are not vaccinated. But those who did not vaccinate, we must not scare them by bringing these things. We must bring them along so that they take that decision and say, as my sister was saying, I want to be immunized because we are over the period of vaccine. But it's important. I mean, there's also a focus now, which we are also going to be doing with all the sectors, especially the children's sector. Because children between the ages of 5 and 11, because it's now a new type of immunization, it is actually needed because COVID is with us and children must not be placed in a position that as they grow older, then they find themselves with challenges.
Before I let you go, I want to check, Master ukuthi thina abantu bavaccinated ingaba kuyiqiniso ukuthi yithi awufide vaccination.
Yes, we taking up that particular, let me put it, risk even though it was not, because how it was introduced. Ukuthi manje when you vaccinate or you uzoba a robot and all of those other things. Doing that, we actually helped to save others through this thing ebizwa herd immunity, because the more the people are vaccinated, the easier it is for others who are not vaccinated.
Leadership, I'm told to Sando appointwa kwenye international organization uzoibiza kamalayo, but you know you are part and you are a delegation. Are we doing well in this country when it comes to managing a response?
I think we are. Okay, I'm the newly appointed communities delegation member. I applied for the position when they sent out the call out, and it's humbling for me to be sitting in a position like this for the communities in South Africa, especially our civil society, which I've worked with.
What is the name of the organization?
Unit 8.
Unit 8.
Yes, Unit 8. Yes. Yeah, from the Eastern Cape, comrade. But yes, we are doing well with regards to some of the engagements that we are doing on the ground and with our communities, and civil society does so much. And I think it's only that coordination, that little coordination that we need to come and bring together to ensure that our efforts merge and our efforts may have an impact. I was talking to Comrade Mabalani during lunchtime, and I was explaining to him that our biggest issue is just we don't come together. We don't come together as a sector and really report on what we are doing. And by not coming together in that way, we lose our power to hold those who get the money accountable, and that is a dangerous spot that we are in. So I applied to be part of the delegation so that I can not be the voice. There's no voiceless in Africa. We have voices, but I can be that person who will coordinate our activities.
So are you encouraged with our efforts?
Yes, I'm very happy. But here's another thing. I wanted to talk about the fact that we think COVID is gone. COVID is not gone. We had 3-4 meetings, and in those meetings, there were COVID infections, but nobody got sick and nobody died. So I want to come back to you. So international people do come. All of us meet again. There's COVID tests, which we must do so that we understand the different strains of the virus. We had 2 meetings, international meetings. People tested positive for COVID, but no fatality, and that is the job of vaccines.
Yes, we're trying. We've done a lot. I think we've achieved a lot in terms of the targets that were set. I think we're doing very well, and I can tell you with confidence that communities are responding very well because now they begin to understand. And the only part that I think needs to be absolutely, it became a serious issue. Yes, about royal parks and all of that. Yeah, it became a problem.
Those
leakages, I think the government has done very well, but I think with the work of civil society as well, by exposing some of those tendencies. I think we need to strengthen the issue law and ensure that we enforce the law. Whoever that is found doing anything that is contrary to what should be done as a society, I think those people should be held accountable. And we need to ensure that, I like the concept of Chinese when they are saying when you deal with corruption, you must be able to deal with flies and tigers. But here we are beginning to see flies being the ones that are targeted, but tigers are let scot-free. So meaning the politicians are the ones that are driving this agenda as well, and they need to be arrested as well.
Fortunately, you are from the sector of people with HIV based TAC, Sanarela, PAC, PWN,
NAPA.
No NAPA.
Yes.
But respond us.
Yeah, no, they are doing very well.
What must be coming.
Yes. No, they're doing well in terms of driving the same objective to ensure that the people are living safe and ensure that there's greater access to those some of the issues. Yes.
But right.
No, baza kahle bayazi siyabashaya, and also linked to into event. You see, because kuma communities kunama clinics, there are clinic committees.
Okay.
So the people that are, as you are saying, there's no voiceless. We already have representatives.
Yeah.
So how do we connect them to this work that's just doing here, Unit 8 as well, so that we don't see ourselves as just a clinic somewhere there? How do we connect? How do we use that connection in terms of driving these things around, ensuring understanding vaccine? Because education is power, knowledge is power, and once we know, then we can be able to respond.
Masimambe lapho Max, magasiye breaking but ukuthi igama lami nibe mbolo lejas. Masibuye, ngifuna sikhulume ngoway forward nezinto ezibambekayo ezizokwenziwa zezinkokheli. Sibuyile-ke Yitolo, ngifuna iy'nkokheli zami manje sikhulume way forward ukuthi masisuka la ama-activities eniwenzayo. I know niqabe ngokuprepare abantu,
Yes.
unaba-educate ukuthi hey like uphill lento senuya we're coming back to communities education, but amanye ama-activities manje azabakhona so that we'll need accountability moving forward.
Well, one is Gunama research trials that are happening. So it's to empower people to understand when they participate, what's in it for them, why they're doing it, so that the work that Yvette and the Unitate people are doing is also strengthened. Because we must not make people not aware, and then in the process we leave those particular people out from a solution. But for me, the last one is for us to continuously to educate. You know, apartheid had created something to us to disempower black people from knowledge. And knowledge, what you don't know, you don't know. And if for me, it's about ensuring that we engage people to understand that what they don't know, they don't know. But once you give them knowledge, then they will know better. Absolutely. And they will know the things that they didn't know before. So with a knowledge, continuous engagement at a basic level. Go high, you know, at your household. Once we deal with those conversations there, because when that person comes out, everybody has their own perspective, but no, I mama, I so that people don't misinform each other. So creating those circles of knowledge. We want that person, Puma in B23 years now on, to take up center stage and be able to speak not as scientists, because they are not scientists, but to speak as an empowered community member who has done things that have empowered.
Fortunately, Maps Bana in show your number radio. So let us speak. From here, what to start with this international organization and power.
No. Thank you so much. I think what's important is that Unitate did get commitment from our organization, which is APA, to literally engage our community. So for myself personally, out of this meeting, out of this engagement, is creating my own work plan with the communities in South Africa and here, and have those dialogues and have those engagements, and also bring people closer to where the science is being discussed. One of our biggest challenges is not being in the rooms where we have been discussed. So Singa Sabi, English is a problem, scientific language is a problem, but let's not be embarrassed to butcher it, because English is not our mother.
And see pool.
Yes. Exactly, and that's an empowerment. Like I said, we should not fear our position. Like you say, the person from Snawanik being at the stage, we should not fear. We are the power. I always say, if they don't create the table for us, we will make our own table and bring it to them.
Leadership.
Yes.
Tangible stuff. Masiphuma la.
Yeah.
Kuzokwenzekani? Ngoba siyazi ukuthi it the program was from now until December, right?
Yes. Tina siphile HIV sector from Kusasa sise West Rand. Sine community dialogue. Bonke abantu abatholakala eWest Rand.
So what you say Nambiti?
Oh, okay. Kumele babe khona nabo. Nabo kumele babe khona siqhuba ivangeli loku exchange information, yoku empower abantu nge-information. Sezasho ukuthi wonke umuntu uyaparticipate. They are not just all the audience, but at least nabo babakwazi ukuthi ba raise ama concerns wabo, especially when it comes to ama issues afana nabo side effects. Kunomuntu uthi hayi ngahlaba i-booster isandla sami sonke asisebenzi and all of that. We need those stories so that we can be able to subject them good discourse ezokwazi ukuthi provide i-panacea, i-solution to those issues. And then lastly, nginesicelo kakhulu ku government, private sector and all other potential employers ukuthi bangaceli bangaforce abantu mabe apply for umsebenzi ukuthi mele provide i-vaccine as part of i-prerequisite requirement, because lonto le yenza uma ungazange wa vaccinate, remember it was voluntary. if ungayenzanga that means I'm losing that particular job. And that thing on its own, I think sabele sike sihlalele phansi si streamline kahle ukuthi how
Very
best to
strange
enter
because
yeah
saying mhlawumbe ufuna ukusebenza lapho bu-applyile
Yes.
sebeyifuna i-vaccination certificate
It becomes a problem.
but abantu abangena daily ababacheki
that's a problem.
bafuna imali.
That is the streamlining.
Any problem ukuthi maba-advertiser bathi bafuna i-vaccine certificate.
That's another issue.
Because
After
it's illegal.
interview, then bathi letha amaphepha wakho sibafuna lento leso. That's
Yeah.
discrimination.
Yes.
It's creating a
It's-
problem.
Yes.
I think nina ngoba ngihlala kwi-SANAC and the ministers are sitting there.
Yes.
Premier,
Yeah.
you can take this.
At the policy level, yes, you are going to.
policy
Yes.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. So, Maps, last comments. English nje lokuthina kubantu abasasabayo ukuvaccinate.
Hayi bangasabi. Sekukhulunywa nge-long COVID manje.
Yeah.
Abantu abatholi COVID and now they are living with others. Science is looking at, you know,
Mina nganjoba but awuyifundisi ngizoshona after 2 years idlule.
bathandazele bazoba right, but for me, as I said, it's just knowledge. It's making people feel confident about what they know. You know, when you don't know what you don't know, it's a problem.
Yeah.
But once you interact nabantu abaziyo, then you know, now uyahlakanipha, now uyazazi izinto, now uyakwazi uku-explain, not nge-English, not nge-science, in your own language.
Bantakwethu next time sizoba nesikhathi esiningi sizikhulume neindaba sizofika nakwabo sifike nakwabo sizokulandela e-ofisini bakwethu nizwile ukuthi masiqhubeke sivaccinate nami ngajovwa ngisaphila ngishonanga no stories umkhwemo ayi-right ukhuluma but nami ngiya-right okujova makisithi-ke emakhaya then